God. It feels like a weight off my shoulders for sure. It's almost, I shouldn't use the analogy, but it's almost like giving birth to your firstborn, because we've been on hold since, like, this was a year ago, April, that we started this process, and we actually got the green light from CJFL a year ago, October. So we've been sitting on this for almost a year now. Like, it's basically anniversary next month. So, you know, and we've done everything in the last few months to figure out how we could make this event possible. You know, it was planned to be at Boston Pizza back in April, and then we postponed it to May, and then when everything just kind of went south really quickly, you know, my words echoed what I said. I wasn't even sure this was going to happen. We thought about doing it over Zoom, but, you know, we felt for this region, it's not too often that you get a national sport coming into a smaller town market community. And we all felt it was just an injustice to make a quick spur of the moment announcement over like a Zoom or something. We really felt that we needed to make this as big as possible. And trying to find the right time and the right location and inside, outside, and then even with everything that came down last week with Doug Ford, with the 25, would that affect us? Thank God we talked to public health and it didn't. So to say it's a relief to get this through is an understatement for sure.
I mean, if you're a football coach and be the chance to be a head coach or something, that's grassroots, put your thumbprint on a lot of parts of it, and I mean, that's I think the dream for most. You know, you really get to build the culture and do everything the way you want to do it. So we'll see if it works out, but I got some control of it, so that's exciting.
Well, it's really exciting. You know, over the last little while, there's been I talked about a renewed sense of confidence in the city. We're getting noticed by companies and individuals from outside of our community. There's lots of interest, and I think this is kind of like the icing on the cake as we go along there. We now have we're now part of a national league where this will operate in 5 provinces. I believe 8 teams in Ontario, and it's going to be fantastic. And this gives our kids something to be able to stay home, to be able to participate if they don't get into university. And I think it's going to develop to be a rival program for the OUA. And it just means that we'll have more people from our city who will go on to do great things in the field of athletes.
We took a big jump when we went to varsity and seeing the size of the guys and the speed of the game. But now we're talking about, we're talking young men now that 18 to 22, and we have teams in the Prairie Conference and the Western Conference that could play at the university level very easily. What we're trying to do in Ontario and this area is we just want to build a football program. We want to build a next level club that really intrigues athletes from all over to be a part of this. And I think that when fans come out to see this next year, they're going to see a level of football that they never thought they could see in this area, because it is. I was blown away how fast varsity was, but when you start watching those guys at 22 horses come down the field, it's an exciting game to watch.
It's rare, but the caliber's high. I mean, it all does come down to the opportunity that exists in front of them. When you go out west, this football is really high level. There's the Hilltops and the schools, they got a lot of money, so they do it really right. You know, in Ontario, Windsor's just affiliated themselves with St. Clair College, and that's given them all the parameters they need. So that's, you know, one of the things we want to do with Loyalist College. So I think when people come, they'll know right off the bat there's a different caliber of football. And I think for the players who show up are going to understand that they've just taken a significant leap. We're going to try and minimize that leap, that if they want to go on and play youth sports afterwards or go right into the CFL, which we hope we can recruit a couple of those kids, that gap's going to be small.
Season runs, the great thing about our organization is because varsity runs in the summer, spring and summer, and this runs in the fall. So Coach Warren and I will start looking at recruiting, but National Signing Day for CJFL is June 1st. So what happens is when June 1st happens, that's the legal rate across the country for clubs to start signing players. Now, because we're first year, we're hoping they'll give us some breaks on that and be able to sign earlier. That's what we've asked, just to get things going, because most teams only have to fill about 10, 15 spots. We have to fill 65 spots. So we have a daunting task ahead of us to make this happen. But we're hoping through this media and everything that's happened, it's going to, hopefully it'll blow up a bit on a positive side in this area. Well, Coach Warren actually lives in Bowmanville, and he's coached in Kingston. He went to high school with me at Frontenac. He lives in the Durham area. He coached for the Dolphins, Pickering Dolphins. So the reason why I went after Coach Warren, not because he's got an amazing pedigree from the coaching side, but as a brand new organization coming from the grassroots up, we needed a face to this organization. I'm not that face. I'm the president. I'm not the guy that athlete from Pickering or from Toronto is going to recognize. Now with the combination of Loyalist College, which wasn't there 6 months ago, with that now on board, we truly believe that if we can put together the right program, we can draw athletes from coast to coast now. But the majority of our market, we're really going to try to get into that Peterborough, Durham, Kingston area. As you know, there's some really strong high school programs in Peterborough, because that's our nemesis. We always lose at CASA. Great programs in Kingston. So to offer this kind of program kind of central to both those locations, I know, and Warren is very recognized in both of those areas. He's very recognizable across the 401 corridor. So he's the guy. He's the one that I believe after this announcement, I'm hoping that there's a little bit of a shockwave that happens. And they go, oh my God, I can't believe Coach Warren's coaching in Belleville.
You know, football in this area has been always really strong. So growing up in Kingston, playing with Peter, we played high caliber football. There's a lot of teams that are going off the offset in the high school area that are from around here and they're competing, playing strong. But we have a real grid triangle, you know, from Durham to Peterborough to Kingston, where we think we get a lot of good core kids. And then to be able to build that culture here that draws other people. I think one of the words that Loyalist College loves using is a destination location. I was coaching at St. FX, which was a small school, and all the kids just loved being there. They called it their first home, not their second home. So I think Belleville is going to give us that opportunity to build that same culture that everyone loves to be here. And then from there, it just grows where the community loves it and everyone else backs it up. It just wouldn't it be great again, you know, in 70s, 80s, high school football, tons of people there, everyone cheering it up and loving it. We'd love to get it back to that point.
Well, it's community support, but it's also something that's really important, because if you're a parent of a child and they don't live in Belleville and they're going to go here for 4 years to play sports, to know that they're going to be able to get an education. And so partnering with Loyalist College is so important, because it gives us something that other communities just don't have. And I see that evolving to go along as well. So, you know, we know that the city of Belleville, we have a wonderful facility, but it's just not appropriate right now for this type of a program. And we're working on making those improvements. And I'm looking forward to a day when we will be fully compliant and we'll be able to host perhaps a national championship and do some great things here.
As I said, you know, 80% of the kids on most high school teams don't have an opportunity to play again, and whether they don't have to go to school, but I love student athletes. So if we can give them an opportunity to continue their post-secondary education and post-secondary football, I think that's the core of the team that's going to let us really build the culture we want. So having them on side, access to facilities and some other things that we're working on, I think that really gives us a chance to come out of the gates pretty fast.
You know, when I spoke to Peter and his crew last spring, you know, obviously this is not really a spectator-friendly environment, so we're going to have some type of stands, some type of grandstands. There's got to be a facility for media to be able to cover it. So we're looking at something here that we can use for more than just the football program, because this is a wonderful facility. Mary-Anne Sills Park is a great facility. We get lots of credit for it from people from outside of town, so we just have to now make it more friendly for spectators. And it's an expensive proposition, but we'll work on it little bit by little bit, and I think it'll be a good investment.
Yeah, we'll be working with the city closely about what we can do. Obviously, we pitched the plan. I did a deputation to council. You heard Mayor today talk about that very meeting that we've been in talking. I know that they want it. I know they want that, and I think it's going to be a great investment moving forward for the city, not just for us as Skyhawks, but to bring every caliber, next caliber, rugby, soccer, whatever it is, to bring championship finals here across Ontario to here for Loyalist College and places like that. So we will do our best to make sure. I'm not worried about the game day experience that we're going to put on, but we'll make sure the crowd is safe. We have proper stands, and what's required by the CJFL we'll make sure we put in place.
So we're working through our parks master plan, and this is a big part of that. It's going to be the future of recreation facilities in Belleville. You know, I think we'll see what comes out of it. I don't want to prejudge it, but I'm not expecting that there'll be much more for expansion at the Quinte Sports and Wellness Center. Now we're looking at our outdoor activities. So you're going to see our active transportation, our trails, parks and playgrounds, but also our athletics. And this is a wonderful facility here. So.